Hello folks, welcome to G4G. It is Napalm Dawn, and I am sorry to let you guys know that this is not the video that I talked about in my channel comments earlier in the week. You'll still have to wait about a day for that one. Sorry to be the bringer of bad news on that. However, this is a video that is more timely and needs to get out of the way first before I talk about anything else. So as you can see from the title of the video, Final Fantasy Record Keeper, or FFRK, as I'm now going to refer to it for the rest of the video, FFRK is on the way out and it ends tomorrow. This article published way back in June, which I feel like I didn't find out as far back as June. I felt like I found out more recently than that, but then again, the summer for me went by pretty fast. I was actually just talking to my coworkers about that today. But yep, Final Fantasy Record Keeper FFRK is on the way out tomorrow. It ends. However, as certain friends of the channel have pointed out in the comments on the first video, the Japanese version is probably continuing. However, it is the global version that seems to be shutting down. This article here on Games Radar states that Square has never really given a reason for it. However, there may be a dwindling fan base. Personally, I cannot say enough good things about FFRK. It has been a literal daily login for me for years. I'm not saying I play every day, but I am saying that I at least log into FFRK once a day, collect my gems and everything like that. It has been one of my favorite mobile games of all times, simply because I don't find it particularly greedy. Now, when you look at my search over here and you follow the link that I used to get to that site, it actually said the Gacha game is officially shutting down. And I feel like Gacha or Gacha almost doesn't really apply to this game, because I feel that it was not necessarily money hungry. This is definitely one of my top 2 fairest monetized mobile games of all time. To me, it is, this game ranks right up there with the Fallout Shelter game in terms of games that I have never spent hardly any money on whatsoever. The Fallout Shelter game, which was supposed to be a hype game for Fallout 3, I believe, similar to the way Marvel Avengers Alliance was to be a hype game for the Marvel Avengers movie. I have spent a little money on that, but spending $2 to $5 here and there for the occasional burst of lunch boxes was never that bad. And this game I have not spent a dime on. Now, it has existed for 7 years, but you will see that let me go to the relic draw and I'll show you guys over here. Yeah, so my gold, when it gets back on the screen, my gold is through the roof. I'm not even going to try and figure out how much gold I have there. But my gems are at 5217. And I don't ever specifically go for it. Mithril. My mithril has just been simply accrued over the years from just playing the game. And to use a minimum of 50 out of 5,000 just to roll for 11 relics, to me seems like it's an extremely great deal. Now, I've never actually owned any gems, and we've not been able to get into the gems since August 30th, I believe, is when that got cut off. But let's go ahead and go to the Barrett Cloud one over here. I mean, for me to just use mithril to draw relics, it seems like a no-brainer. I just never spent any money on this game, and yet I'm able, and have always been able, I feel, to simply buy the world when it comes to this game. And I think it's a real good dopamine hit to go through these silvers and know that that's just going to be upgrade fodder right over there. You know, like, all this is going to go to upgrade one of these two things over here. And I mean, it's just a pleasant natured little dopamine hit. This 6-star vest, 7-star, but that's got to be a Barrett arm right over there. Yeah, gun arm for Barrett. And let's see who this belongs to. Tifa. Oh yeah. So I'll show you guys why that's a big thing for me in just a moment. So my party currently, how I'm ending the game, is this top slot tends to come and go a little bit. I've used Cloud. I mean, I actually used the record keeper, Spazzo, for a long time, but I found he started to lag behind some of my other characters, and especially when I made him sort of magic oriented. I always felt like magic was just not doing the damage of physical attacks, but then again, physical attacks when you fight flying bosses is useless. But some of my top characters, Kelger the Wolf from 3 or 5, I forget where he's from. Cloud, Red X, Red 13 I've not found too impressive, but Garnet, Riku are pretty good. Min, Philia's got a lot of good gear on. Roms has been good for me. Obviously, Orlandau, the Sid, the Thunder God, he is an absolute top tier god in any game he ever shows up in. Rem's got some good gear. There's my record keeper. There's the Warrior of Light, and then it starts to fade out from there. But I've basically got just about everybody unlocked, all the basic characters. And right now, I'll show you guys how I'm finishing up on my last day here. So that's why Onionite is in, because I have the Onion Blade, Alamahigo Liberator's mask over there, Hyper Wrist. My Sephiroth is another walking god. Shinuchi got a katana over there, Soul Armlet, a relic on him. Cecil or Cecil, I prefer Cecil, but I do think he's actually been voiced in the games as being Cecil. I'll call it Cecil. He's had Excalibur for a while, Crystal Helm for a little bit, Locke's Bandana. Tifa is another one of my gods. She's wearing God's Hand. She has Tifa's gloves on and Laswell's insignia. Now, I'm going to boost up her vest and we'll take a look at it, see if it compares. And this slot down here for Gilgamesh, this is bounced around a little bit. I used to have Kelger down there, but I've got Gilgamesh down there with Zensetsuken, a red hat, and a muscle belt. He's using Crush Down, Leeching Leap. She's using Gaia Rush and Meteor Crush. I mean, these two do such phenomenal single target damage. It's off the charts. Cecil has an Ultra Cure and a Divine Cross. Sephiroth has Damning Flame and Demon's Blood. Onion Knight has a Dark Buster and Tempo Flurry. He's sort of new to being in the rotation. He's not completely jacked up right now. Turbo Hit, Forbidden Power, Fervent Shadow, Transience, Octaslash, Oblivion, and that's actually the order that I think I use them in is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's why it's ordered that way. Cecil has Shining Crescent, Paladin Force, Saints Fall, Radiant Wings, Sentinel, Holy Devastation, Valiant Force. Tifa has Rolling Blaze, Meteor Strike, Platinum Strike, Beat Rush. That Meteor Strike is a complete damage breaker. And Gilgamesh is Morphing Time, Repentance, and Acting Attack Boost over there. Let me see, what does Morphing Time actually do? I gotta read up on this. Raises it a moderate amount. Deal 3 jump attacks. Oh, that's actually pretty good. So, technically, I should I think I know what I want to do here. Take away attack boost. Okay. I was kind of hoping it would. So let's see, Morphing Time, attack boost. Morphing Time there, attack boost there, Repentance there. That's the order I should have it in. But, you know, and I also have a bunch of wardrobes. A bunch of alt art for the characters and everything. Yeah, it's going to be a shame to see this game go, because there's such classic things in here. And I mean, to have a game where you decide to maybe change up who you're running in a party simply because you get gear for a character. I mean, there's definitely been time where I've had a nobody pull an extreme piece of gear from a relic draw like that and be like, okay, well, that's who I'm going to use now. But as you can see, my inventory over here is also phenomenal. I mean, there's Heavy Vulcan for Barrett. There is W Machine Gun for Barrett. There is Max Ray for Barrett, which is what I just pulled. There's a Keyblade, which belongs to nobody. Could be used for multiple people. There's a Blitz Ball for Waka. I mean, just over the years, your loadout gets to be incredible. And what do you guys think? Has there been a time in which you have changed up a character simply because you've pulled such a phenomenal relic roll for that person? It has definitely happened to me. That's kind of one of the reasons why Onion Knight is in for me. And I've definitely done it with some other characters, and I always seem to be nearly at the top of my inventory limit. So a lot of times what I do is when I get the lower level gear in the relic draws, that's when I will feed that into the one that I actually care about, which in this case is going to be the Tifa jacket. Yeah, grab those guys. Alright, that should be enough for now. And the thing about this game is when that happens, that I decide to switch to a character because I pull a piece of gear for that character, my upgrade materials, my character upgrade materials, there's just so much of it that it seems it's a no-brainer that I can just like take that vest and go ahead and instantly jack it up to its maximum, or take a character, switch to that character, and immediately have them fully leveled and ready to go for the party with just about everything that they need, including their skill board and everything. So it looks like if I was to switch for this one for Tifa, her attack would go way down, but her defense and resistance would go considerably up. It may actually be worth it because it's down 50 on the attack, but then it's up about 50 over there on the defense and nearly 70 on the resistance. But Tifa is an absolute cannon for me, so I'm not going to go ahead and do that. But in order to say goodbye to the game, let's have the party run through one more level really quick so we can actually see some of the damage that they do on the way out. I've been spending some time in my own head trying to figure out like why the game might be closing, and one of the things that I could think of is maybe they're just running out of characters that they could add to the game, that they've simply gone through and they've just farmed out all the old games. Like, who else are you going to add from 1 through 10? Like, who could possibly be there? But then again, you know, you still have quite a bit from 15 you can add. You can do crossovers with other Final Fantasy mobile games, like some of the Brave Exvius characters, which is where, or Exvius, which is where Square wants you to go right now. I did play BE for quite some time. It just didn't hook me, so I did wind up abandoning it. But that's kind of where they're guiding you now at this point, is over to Brave Exvius. You've got 16 coming. I mean, I'm sure the MMOs, at least 14, could continue to add characters to this game, because as you get an expansion pack to 14, I'm sure there are major plot characters that you are heavily invested in hanging around with for that expansion and everything. That's more that is more my girlfriend's territory, as she is currently playing 14 active to this day and doing Savage content and everything like that. You know, there are some names you always see representing 14, like Ishtola and some characters like that. Like, she's over in the other Final Fantasy game that's out now, the bigger one that's not... Wait a minute, is Brave X? I have to check something after this battle, but let me go ahead and defend a little bit. Let's see what a Dark Buster from him is like at this point. Yeah, so my Sephiroth typically opens up with a Damning Flame and a Demon's Blood. I mean, look at that. I know that's pretty much standard damage for anybody who's been playing FFRK for a long time. I'm sure they will recognize these characters as not specifically all that much to write home about, but to me, they do fine for me for the game that I've been running. And I haven't gotten to unlock all of the stuff from the Nightmare Dungeons. I'll go ahead and pop over to... Actually, that's really where I should be for this video. Fight some challenging content instead of scrubby low-level stuff over here. So we'll go home. Let me see, what is the... Do I have that one on here? No, I don't. Let me try and find the name of that other Final Fantasy game that I'm thinking of, because that one I actually do log into fairly often and do play. Every now and then I sort of fade out for maybe half a month or so and just don't go in there. But lately I've been pretty consistent with it. So I've learned Meltdown, that summon Valagar, Omega Drive, Ultima, Crushdown, and Neo Bahamut. Actually, is Belgramanda a summon? I can't remember if this is actually a summon or not. Yes, okay, so Tritalk, basically. So what I have left is Northern Cross, Quadruple Foul, Curata, Affliction Break, and Dervish. And I mean, these are challenging, but they're not over the top when I do them. As you can see, I've had very good success in going through them over here. So let's bring up Quadruple Foul. And we'll get to actually see how my guys are at this point. I always like to start off on the lowest difficulty one. Yeah, okay, so War of the Visions, Brave Exvius, that's the other one. That's out now. That's pretty good. Very good graphics. It actually requires some higher level blue stacks when you're playing it. But there is Brave Exvius, and then there is War of the Visions, Brave Exvius, which is sort of like a Final Fantasy Tactics. And of course, you still have Dissidia, the mobile game, Opera Dissidia, whatever that one is. And that one's not too bad. But to me, I think Record Keeper is honestly the biggest game that pulls from all of the realms of Final Fantasy. And if you really want like the most out of your diversity in characters, this is the game to have, and that's why I think it's such a shame that it's the one that is going currently. Seems a shame. So we'll open up Gay Rush, do a Dark Buster, Divine Cross, see if I can get the double proc on the Divine Cross. I don't use Leeching Leap unless he's been hurt. We'll do Damning Flame. He has a chance to do 2 Knight attacks with something that he's wearing, and it looks like it's going to proc. So good free damage there. Little bit resistant to the Damning Flame. Crush Down, as you can see, is pretty solid AoE. This would probably kill him. I just love my Tifa so much. A lot of my good characters do come from 7, but I've tried to smear it across the games as much as possible. But my Sephiroth has been one of my favorite damage dealers. My Tifa is just a complete walking nightmare when her soul breaks go off. Just, you know, monkey brain, big numbers, huge dopamine hit. Alright, so we'll do Hambada, and then we will go ahead and call it a video, and we will be discussing Final Fantasy Record Keeper for the last time. Not one that I've ever covered on the channel too much, but do know that this has been pretty much a daily game for me for years, and one that I'm going to be sad to see go. It will take something from me a little bit to not be clicking on this game every day and logging in and collecting my mithril and emptying the mailbox and everything. Who doesn't remember Hambada from 6 when Terra fights him? We'll also go ahead and do the Historia Crystal here. Pretty good damage, and it looked like Dark Buster hit and landed. It's always nice when you can get a debuff on a boss. Another double Divine Cross proc again. Still not hurt, so we're not going to do Leeching Leap. Of course, then he takes a big pop right after I say that. Demon's Blood from Sephiroth, Tempo Flurry. There was a miss thanks to the Dark Buster. That's cool to see. Another one. Ooh, big hit. Alright, well. Time to actually see something not offensive for a change here. Who's gonna get the soul break to finish this off? Let's have Tifa do it. We'll have Tifa put him away. Ah, Tifa doesn't have the soul break. Alright, it's gonna be Sephiroth. Actually, we're taking some pretty heavy damage over there from the lightning strikes. Turbo, okay, so that turbo hit was fun. Not a lot of damage, though. Here comes Transience. Which is gonna do quite a bit of damage. Overkill. So sadly, Tifa didn't get there. She didn't build up her charge enough, and my Sephiroth is set up to start with quite a good deal of soul break meter. Still got all the 3 stars though, even though we dropped Onion Knight. Alright, so let's go out. That will be the last fight that we'll do for the video. I unlocked... Damn, I unlocked a Book of Trials. Ah, that's sad. On the last day of the game to unlock a book. Let's see. I want to see if I can find my whole roster here. Yeah, I mean, there's things I still haven't even unlocked yet. It's because I've never taken the game like ridiculously serious, and it's funny now that it's leaving. I'm like, yeah, kind of want to do it. All right, so here's a look at the roster as we go out. Kane, Celis, Titus, Lightning, Adia, Garland, Standard Warrior, and all the other characters. Matoya from Matoya's Cave, Furion from 2, and Maria. Minwoo, I thought I was using Minwoo for a little bit, but I guess not. Emperor. Dark Knight Cecil, there's Rydia, there's Rosa, there's Spoony Bard, Edward, Yang, Palom and Porum, aka the statues. Hopefully that's not a spoiler for you guys. Tella, Edge, the god Fusaya over here. He might have been somebody who might have been good to raise up as a caster. I think Rydia may be extremely good as a caster. There's Rubiconte, one of the Fiends of Flame, Barbarisha, Butts or Barts, depending on which version you're playing, Exdeath, Faris, Locke, Terra, Mog himself, Sabin Shadow, Cyan, Gao, Setzer, Strago, Realm, Gogo, Umaro, the Yeti, Kefka himself, Leo. I mean, this game includes Leo. How much did you want to play as Leo back in 6 and back when you didn't have the internet and you had the SNES cartridge and you were trying all these crazy things to keep Leo in your party because he was so good, or resurrect Aerith or Aerith depending on which version you're playing, and now you can just, you know, emulate them and maybe hack it with like Game Shark codes. Kate Sith, Vincent, Zack, Sid, Rufus, Rude, there's Squall, Quistis, Zell, Selfie, Irvine, Seifer, Laguna, Ragin, Steiner down here, Ultimisha, Zidane, Quina of the frog-eating Elko. I think you're not seeing Dagger down here because my Dagger's been leveled. There's Beatrix. Beatrix was really, really good in 9. Yuna, Lulu, Kamari. That sprite is awful for Kamari. That just looks like blue puke. Jacked, Braska, Seymour Guado. And now we're getting into some 11, which is one of the MMOs, so I don't know these as much. And then we're getting into Balthier, Fran, which is every prepubescent boy's wet dream over there. Vaughn, Gabranth, one of the judges. Now we're getting into the 13 characters. Vanille, Saz. I think Vanille actually has a playthrough of 13, which is kind of cool. Like, so Vanille is playing Vanille. I think it may be out there on YouTube. Snow, Fang, Sarah. I don't think they have a category for 13-2, but let's find out, because Hope and obviously Sarah are in both. Saz does show up in 13-2, I think. Yes, there's 13-2. They just call him 13. Noel, Nabat, who you can fight in the arena. Now we get into the 14s of Y'shtola, Thancred, Yida, and I'm probably going to pronounce these extremely wrong because I have not played much of 14. Alphanaud, Sid, Harshafont. Now we get into the 15s of Noctis, Gladiolus, Ignis Prompto, Core, Lunafreya, Arden, one of the villains. Now you get into tactics and you get the amazing Agrias, Mustadio, Delita, Gafgarian, who is always fun to play. Actually, in Brave Exvius, the War of the Lions, I've got a good Gafgarian going over there. Meliadoul is always a fan favorite whenever you can play her. And then you get into the Tactics Advanced Game Boy ones of Marsh, Montblanc, Orin, back in Tactics, Alma. Then the Zero characters like Deuce, Nine, King, Jack. Then you get into some Kingdom Hearts of Sora and Riku. I forget what the star means. Who are these characters? Yeah, this... I'm not too sure who these are supposed to be. Maybe... Oh, Seraphi. That's Explore... Okay, that is one of the console games. And Laswell is from Brave Exvius, the mobile game, so you can see some crossover characters here. And then the original character classes: Knight, Magus, Summoner, Spellblade, Wedge, Biggs, who return in every series, Alara, which is kind of like the female record keeper, and yeah, that's it. So we're going to go ahead and say goodbye now to Final Fantasy Record Keeper. To all of the FFRK fans on the channel, I certainly bid you guys a fond adieu. Hope you obviously stay with the channel for other games. Not that you're here for FFRK content, because I never cover it, but I definitely want to see you guys hanging out for the other videos that we got to do. So, we'll probably see a quick video tomorrow, which will be a piece of bad news concerning a MMO that's being revived out there, and how does that affect the Redux project. And then Thursday or Friday of this week, we will probably see the Redux video that I've been teasing to you guys since the beginning of the week. So, take care, everybody. Have a good one.